What's going on, YouTube? My name is DJ SKD, in case you didn't know. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe or watch the video and then decide whether you like me. Anyways, I'm doing a video here to revisit of a video I did a year ago. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's NS7 versus Turntables. The reason I'm telling you to check it out because my opinion has changed since then. So, get an idea where I was coming from, where I am now. Basically, the whole debate is people hit me up all the time. You know, they're asking me what I use, not only on YouTube, but in the club. People come up to me all the time, asking me what I'm DJing with, you know, what it is they should use, all this stuff. You know, people ask me all the time. I'm a diehard Serato, you know, fanatic. The first time I saw it, I remember I was, you know, like 18 years old, and I always wondered how those DJs were manipulating vinyl without changing the record and you know, just using a computer, and I thought they were cheating and all this stuff. So first time I came into contact with Serato, finally a DJ told me a secret, Boston DJ, and he was like, yeah, it's called Serato, this is how we do it. And I was like, this is fucking sweet, because I was only using turntables with vinyls, so I was limited. When I was doing mobile parties, I started out with virtual DJ. That was the only way I knew how to use it. You know, and I was using just the computer in the mixer. So that was like the only way I could really mix music, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, people kind of knock virtual DJ, but you can be mix on it if you want to be a, you know, scratch DJ and, you know, basically I'd say a club DJ, because my opinion of club DJs, you need to be able to scratch, manipulate tracks, you know, perform kind of tricks and stuff to really be a club DJ. So that's my opinion on virtual DJ, which I'm not really going to get into because that's a whole other conversation. But what I am going to talk about is MIDI controllers versus turntables, traditional turntables and traditional Serato setup. My opinion is this MIDI revolution is here. It's real, and it's pretty awesome. There are some controllers that I do not like. Obviously, you can see in my videos I use the VCI-300, and I love that thing, and the NS7, and I love that thing. I have not tried the what is it? The Pioneer, and there's one other one I'm forgetting about. Pioneer, and oh yes, I've tried the NS6. I don't like the NS6. I don't like the platters. They were trying to do the whole touch-sensitive thing, but especially actually when you get, you know, when you're in this club and it's kind of hot and you get little sweaty hands. I have a hard time with the VCI-300 anyways, as it is, and the NS6 is terrible with that. You can barely grip the platter. It's like too smooth. So that's my opinion on that. But other than that, yeah, VCI-300. NS7 turntables. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video, and hopefully not bore you. So anyways, I'll get into it. I'll talk about each one as I go along. So here is a Newmark NS7 MIDI turntable setup. I'm going to try to break this up in little tiny pieces and get through this within 10 minutes. So basically, what I'm going to first talk about are all the pros of the NS7, and I'm going to kind of go along and talk about pros over a traditional setup. Now, when I talk about traditional setup, I'm talking about a Rane TTM 57, two turntables, whatever they may be. You know, Technics, Newmark, doesn't matter. Two turntables, a Rane TTM 57 mixer. Now, if you don't know what one is or what it looks like, unfortunately, I sold mine. I'm actually waiting on the Rane 61 and 62. And what I'm going to talk about does not apply to the Rane 61 and 62, because I'm real excited about those things. And I'm going to tell you why. So anyways, if you haven't seen one, watch my old video. You understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to do this visually here and explain what I'm talking about. On a Rane 57, basically, you don't have any dedicated controls. On a Rane 57, all you see is, I think there's a button here, and then a group of, I think it's 6 buttons right here. That's it. You got a couple joysticks as well. But basically, for you to do a Q1, so basically hitting Q1 on side A, you would have to hit group B1 and then hit 1 again to hit the same, basically do the same thing that we're doing right here. Now, why this is such a pain in the ass, what I'm telling you is, I mix fast. If you watch my videos, I mix real fast, and I'm always jumping on cues and doing this and doing that, turning loops on and off. So when you're in a Serato TTM 57, say you're mixing along, and next thing you know, you're in the cue page, and you want to go turn a loop on real fast. You got to make sure you're on the loop page or whatever it's called. I mean, it's really a pain in the ass. You know, it's like, and it threw me off a bunch of times. Like I was actually abandoning the 57 controls and just jumping to the computer because sometimes I'd be lost in where I was, what page I was on. And for a $1,200 mixer, you shouldn't be touching the laptop. You should be using the controls. So that's probably the #1 pro of a MIDI style setup versus that. Again, I'm not talking about the Rain 61 or 62, which is coming out, because from what I understand, they've kind of fixed that problem. They've gone to more of a MIDI style setup with all your cues, all your loops, your crate control right in there, and it works the balls from what I'm looking at. So I'm excited for that. Alright, so now what I'm going to talk about is effects. Now, effects with the NS7 at least are not built in. You have to get a secondary effects processor. They have two. They have the NS7, which is a little strip that goes up here, which works fine with the NS7. Looks real clean. Or you can go along and get this right here. This is a VFX1. This actually first came out with the VCI-300 to get effects with that. I got it and I loved it, man. The effects on this thing are awesome. It's got sweet flangers, it's got great echo effects, nice and big, buttons are right there. Again, everything's right as you see it. You hit deck A, deck B, and you control your effects. The effects in Serato Itch are great. They're perfect. Actually, I'd compare them to a DGM 800 mixer, if anyone is familiar with that. It's got effects built in. It's great. One of the big things about NS7 and VCI-300, both being MIDI controllers, is it has post-fader effects. Now, what I'm talking about post-fader effects is basically over here, if I've got my echo turned on, which unfortunately none of this is plugged in, and I hit play, and say this song is, I'm mixing this song in, and I scratch out backspin or something crazy, as soon as I pull this fader down or pull this fader over, that effect trails on as the faders are down. So basically I got an echo and I do a backspin and then pull it out, it still trails on time out, which is great. So, and all your effects go right to the BPM of the music, because it's all in one, and it's great stuff. On a Rain 57, again, talking about pros and cons, a TTM 57, if you're using Scratch Live effects, they don't work post-fader with a Rain 57. From what I understand, the 61 and 62 post-fader effects will work. They work with a Rain 68, which is the 4-channel. So that's a huge pro, because I love post-fader effects. I'm doing that. I actually haven't done it in my videos, but I do it in the club all the time. I do backspins, I do echo effects, things like that. Also, another little quick tip here is, again, the VFX1 works with Serato Scratch Live. So if you're a DJ watching this video and you have Scratch Live and you're looking at this, this is worth it. You can plug this in with Scratch Live and do all the effects and flangers and things, and it'll work with your traditional setup. Alright, the last thing I'm going to talk about with the NS7 at least is basically platters. Now this is going to be kind of a, I called it a con in my last video. It was definitely some advantage that turntables had, but it's one of those things where, yes, these are smaller platters. They do feel a little bit different. You can adjust it though. You can actually apply more pressure to get a harder drag, or less pressure to get a less drag, like having a couple vinyls on a butter rug. So, anyways, it's one of those things where you first get on it, you're like, this is weird. But I've had multiple DJs in clubs, because clubs that haven't had turntables or had shitty turntables that are broken, on a broken fader on a mixer or something. I've brought this in and had other DJs use it. One of the bigger DJs that came on this thing was DJ Bonix, was actually on this NS7. On UNH campus, we had Taylor Gang come through, and he called up asking for a Rain setup, but there they don't have turntables. I didn't feel like busting mine out there. Had this out there, and he was pissed when he first saw it, but he got on it, and I gave him the itch program. That's all he needed. All of his crates worked, loaded them up, and he was actually loving it. Remember, he looked at me in the beginning of the night, and he was, cutting it up and doing some stuff. You can actually watch the video on YouTube there. And he was actually enjoying himself. At the end of the night, he said, that was cool, I had a good time. And he left. So, anyways, platters, honestly, I don't call it a con anymore. These are great platters. The torque is great. Dragging the platters is the balls on these things, and you don't ever have to worry about needles, dirty needles, anything like that, a needle jumping. You could be bouncing up and down on this thing, which I have been. There's been, I've partied on boats and things with this thing, and it's bomb-proof. So I don't call it a con anymore. I say this thing is right on. The size is perfect. I mean, Newmark knew what they were doing when they came out with this thing. So the only thing, I mean, some people bitch about the crossfader and the mixer setup, but for those people, I say, go to a V7, 2 V7s, and do it that way, and get your own mixer if you want to. All right, up next is this. I'm going to talk about this briefly because basically I've kind of gone over everything here. This is a VCI-300 Mark II. You guys seen me using this thing in certain videos and stuff like that. I just want to touch with this real quick. A lot of nightclubs I've been doing that around here. I mean, I live in New Hampshire, so if you can imagine, there are not that many big nightclubs. We do party though. There's some sweet clubs, but a lot of them don't have turntables. Now, the NS7, look how much bigger this thing is. Yes, it is more portable than a couple turntables, dragging those things around and a mixer, but it's still big. This goes in a backpack, and this, my laptop, and a stand, and that's it. So, yes, it is small, and no, you can't do all the cool turntablism stuff on this thing. You can manipulate it pretty well. I do some serious scratching on it. You've seen in my videos. Beat juggling becomes hard. There's no reference points. You're going to be staring at a laptop. But again, everything is here. Loops, cues, pitch faders, nice cross faders, nice up faders, all that good stuff. So this thing is great. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the entire video. Unfortunately, my last one, I did include a little mix at the end. I don't have time for this one. I kind of try to cram all this in as much as I could. So basically, my overall opinion in this entire video is the MIDI era is here, and it's the balls. Like this, like NS7. Hopefully, they come out with more controllers like it. For me, the whole turntablism aspect of it, the moving platters are great. Again, but I can get by on a VCI-300. I can't wait to get the VCI-380, which is coming out. That thing looks sweet. It's got the mixer on it, which is nice. It's professional equipment. I mean, I honestly believe that. Like I said, the Rain 61 and 62 are coming out, and they're jumping on board with this whole MIDI setup. Granted, you can still stick with turntables, which I love. I'm not knocking them, and I think they'll be around forever. But this whole MIDI thing is starting to come along. I've tried the CD stuff. I've tried the CDJs, and also I've tried the older style MIDI stuff. But it's finally coming into its own. Serato Itch is great. They're doing great things. They just launched video. That was another thing I kind of skipped out on this last part here was Video SL. I remember in my last video I was talking about my Rain TTM 57, how I was able to do video, and my NS7 wasn't. That's not true anymore. Serato released video for Itch. So now you can do video with your VCI-300, with your NS7, whatever Itch controller you're using. I do wish they'd step up video a little bit, though. I still use Mix Emergency because it's got a lot of cool effects and it handles much better. Plus, when you load a track, it doesn't shut the video off. So, anyways, that's a whole other thing I'm not really going to talk about, although people do ask about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much my opinion. When when my 62 comes in, I'll let you know more about that, but it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's going to be the same as all that, except with turntables, and it's going to have the effects. It's going to have the queuing and looping right on it, which I've been waiting for because I hate my 57. That's why it's gone. It's gone. I'm sorry, Rain, but I hate it. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. I plan on posting more videos of me mixing and using all this stuff you see back here. So yeah, subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.